So I recently picked up the X9 Lite, and I also got the XJT Lite module. Won that from Tweet FPV on his YouTube channel. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. He's got some pretty interesting stuff there. Very nice guy. Anyway, I got the module, or I got the radio. I set it up for a couple of my smaller quads. I wanted something that's a little bit more portable. Works out well. Obviously, I have to have the module if I want to run D8 mode. And what I'm going to be doing today is setting the spring tension on my gimbals, but I'm also going to show you how to drill some access holes in the back of the controller so that you don't have to keep taking the back off if you want to fine-tune those adjustments. So what I did was, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the module off, of course, take the back off the radio. Now there is a plug for the battery. I've already got it unplugged. Plugs into the board right there. And then you can see easy access to your typical gimbal screws, right? So since I'm running in mode 1, 2, I don't remember what mode number it is, I adjusted the throttle so that it's loose, and I'll have to adjust yaw and then pitch and roll on these screws here. Yes. So basically there's 4 screws you have to do. These 2 screws for this gimbal, these 2 screws for this gimbal. I can easily adjust them right and put the back cover back on, but what I thought I would do is find out their location, the screw locations on the back cover. Just drill some access holes so that if I want to fine tune these in the future, all I have to do is stick the screwdriver through and be done with it. So here's the method I'm taking, right? I've taken the side. I'm taking a look at the side of the radio right now, and with a pencil I just made a vertical line on the outside of the case where that screw head is, and also where, might be hard to see, where that screw head is in relationship to the side of the case. Did that on both sides. Obviously that screw is for throttle, that screw is for yaw. So I took those and I just measured them down, marked them. The reference marks are there so that I can see where on the side of the case, when I put it back together, I can transfer that up and I can transfer my line out to where I need it. I'm going to take a measurement now from the outside of the case inward to find out horizontally how far into that back cover these gimbals actually are. Unfortunately, you have to kind of eyeball it here. It's not going to be real critical because your hole's going to be a little bit oversized. So you'd have access. So 13.6, so it's close to 13.5. Let's see what 13.5 looks like. It gets tough. 13.5 looks about right. And then from screw to screw, and again I'm eyeballing this, looks like it's about 12.5. So 13.5, 12.5. Check the other side of the case just to see if it's the same, which it should be. Eyeballing it again, I'm getting about 13.5. And then since they're the same gimbal, just in a different position, you should have 12.5 again between the screw holes. Alright, so I use the blue tape to kind of help set my line. I'm putting an X on here, meaning that's the one that I'm going to measure in the 13.5 from the edge, and then from that I'm going to go another 12.5 to get to the other hole. So set up my drill press, let's see how it goes. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to pick out a drill bit, obviously, that's going to have some clearance for the screw, so I'm probably going to pick out something in the 5mm range. Obviously I don't have metric here, but something like that or bigger. Not too terribly big, right? I just want to have something that's going to fit that screwdriver. Got some clearance, I can reach down to that there. Before I get started drilling, I've made a little template to set my drill bits by 13.5 and then 26. So just as a reference, I'm going to match them up, make sure they work. I'm going to double check my lines on my radio, make sure that those line up. I think they look pretty good. So now I'm going to set my fence using my line as a guide. And again, it's not precise, right? Normally I'm doing set up a little bit differently than this. I normally wouldn't do this on my drill press exactly this way. But I don't know how familiar you guys are with machining and drilling. Hopefully you've got more skills than I do. Doing it for a few years, but with my home setup it's a little bit different than with what I'd have anywhere else. Alright, so here's what I want to do. And I'm going to mark these out. I'm just making sure that everything lines up well and that I don't have any interference with anything, that my fence is going to be in the right spot. So again, I mark that with an X, so my first hole is going to be on this bottom, and it's going to be right there. So I'll just lock drill press down. I'll look for my tip. I'll mark my point. The other side, it's going to be at the top. So I'll mark my point. Alright, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see that in there. But it looks like it lines up pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the other hole at the same distance from the edge. And we'll go from there. Alright, unfortunately these are in a bad position. You can see there on that curve. It's not going to go well if I try to drill through that curve like this. So I'm going to drill these freehand. I've got them center punched, and I'll just freehand them as best I can. So that's what the back of it looks like for now. Let's bring her back over to the bench, we'll put it together, and we'll see what it looks like on the controller. Alright, so back at the bench, I have the two halves here. We're going to try and see how everything fits. Just get that gimbal protector back on there. So I'm going to try and see if I can show you guys in the camera exactly what I'm seeing. It's going to be really hard. I'll take some screenshots. To me, it looks like they line up really well, or good enough at least to get the screwdriver into and make an adjustment. That one needs to be a little bit bigger. That one works. That one works. Yeah, this is the only one here. And I think what I did was, because on this hole here, I drilled it in an angle like that, and I didn't rotate the drill bit around. So I need to do that and go straight down. So I'll do that really quick. I'll be right back. Blow all the extra junk out of there. Anyways, so now let's try this out here. Again, I'll take some pictures, see if I can get some shots of what it looks like with these holes lining up. Again, you can move the gimbals a little bit too, but mainly what I wanted to do is be able to get a screwdriver inside of here, get it on each screw, and the way I've got it drilled and the size of holes I've got, everything works. So there it is. Put the 4 screws back in, adjust my gimbals, never have to take the cover off again. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.